Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my TBR Game rotating decks, where I have Uno cards help me pick my prompts to create part of my monthly TBR. So this will be April's round, and in April I am planning on participating in the Orilium Magical Readathon. I am going to be sticking with my career of choice, I guess. So this will be my second year trying to go for the Master of Elements, which is part of the House of the Crescent exclusive occupation. And so I did complete all of my studies for that last year, and so I'm going to be doing my second year of that this year. So I'm really going to be trying to fit prompts in for that as well. So it should be a really interesting month as far as trying to fit my gameplay in with those prompts as well. I do have all of my prompts on a card here for reference, so I can let you know what I will be reading for that. But before we get into any of that, let me tell you how I'm doing for the month of March. So I will let you know that I am filming this on March 18th. So it is quite early in the month, but I had to film it this early due to scheduling conflicts and things like that. So I have not yet put in a good dent in what I have for my prompts for the month, but I will let you know where I am. So in no particular order, one of the prompts was recommended by Goodreads, and for this one I had chosen From Below by Darcy Coates. I have not yet started this book. One of my other options was Live and Let Chai, I think, which is a cozy mystery. I haven't started that one either. So that's that. Then most recent added to Goodreads. So I had to choose from the 10 there. And for that one, I chose Stolen Tongues. I am currently reading this one. I'm about 50% in on this one. So I am sure to get this one done before the end of the month. And then the last one was BookTube recommendation. And for that one, I chose Cross My Heart and Hope to Spy by Ali Carter. This is the second book in the Gallagher Girls series. I have not yet started this one either, but this is a middle grade book, and it is, on the thinner side. So yeah, that's where I am with that. I haven't started a majority of the things I needed to read for my prompts, but as I am not doing punishments for not finishing the things that I've chosen for my game, I'm okay. And like I said, I am filming this really early, just due to scheduling, and so yeah, I still have plenty of time. I have almost 2 full weeks to get more reading in for the month, so I'm not too worried about that. And so yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to talk to you about at the moment. So let's flip to this month's gameplay, and this is actually my 2-year anniversary of this game. Can't believe I've been doing this game for 2 years. My very first game was April 2021, and so yeah, 2-year anniversary here. So yeah, let's flip over to this month's gameplay and see what kind of prompts I get. Hoping for some really easy ones to help me with my Orilium readathon. So flipping to the gameplay now, and I will be back with you in a bit. Okay, so here is the setup for April's round of rotating decks. We are still using the Disney Lion King deck. Down in the description box below, just as a reminder, I do have a poll still running. If you'd like to vote on the next deck that we use the next time I get a wild card, definitely go down to the poll and make your selection known. And then when I pull a wild, I will choose the most popularly voted deck. So yeah. So this month we are still using the Lion King deck because I had not pulled a wild in the last game. And so, as per usual, I have already shuffled the deck, but I am going to have my daughter come over and cut the deck so that you know that I don't know what is on the top of this deck. Okay, so let's hope that this game is nice to me, because I am also going to be participating in the Orilium Magical Readathon this month, and I really need these polls to work well with that, on top of the fact that I will be traveling in April. So, 3 polls as per usual. let's get started with pull number 1. Witches. That is a blue 6 with Pumbaa. And the prompt is Vampire Academy. So that means I need to read the next book in the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. I believe I am on book 3 now, so that will be interesting. Next card is a red 8 with Simba. Well, it looks like the cards got flipped over there. Let's try that again. And the prompt is bought in 2014. So that just means I need to pull a selection off of my Goodreads shelf that is bought in 2014. And the last card, hopefully, is a red 7 with Rafiki, which I believe is my friend Amy over A Star Reads' favorite Lion King character. And the prompt is start a new series. That is something I will never say no to. And so that's great. Get to check out a new series this month. And so, yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to fit into my Orilium Magical Readathon prompts. So that is the conclusion of April's round. Let me go pull some selections, and I will be back with you in a bit to share with you what I have chosen. Okay, so gameplay wasn't too bad. I was able to find things to fit with my Orilium prompts, so that was really good. I did mention to you that I will be traveling in the month of April, so I was hoping to get a few more of these that would be like digital or via audiobook, but that didn't work out too well for me. But let me go through what I have picked for these prompts. I will also let you know what I will be reading for the Monochrome Manga Club, which is my in real life manga club where we read 2 first in a series books, and we're doing 2 series reads currently. And then I will let you know what I will be reading for the Orilium Magical Readathon prompts that I have for my chosen profession. So, first card that we got was a blue 6 with Pumbaa. And for this one, the prompt was Vampire Academy. So that just means that I need to read the next book in the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. And for me, that is Shadow Kiss. So you can see this book is quite beat up. This I did pick up from a little free library. So there's a little stamp over here in the front. But this is the 3rd book in the Vampire Academy series. I quite enjoyed the TV show, and so I'm really looking forward to continuing with this series. Unfortunately, this book is super thick. So this book is over 400 pages. It's almost 450 pages, and I do not have an audiobook copy available to me from any of my library sources. So I'm definitely going to have to read this one physically. But these books tend to run rather fast for me. And so that should be fine. This book is about an academy where there are vampires and there are protectors or guardians. And we followed 2 in particular. And they go through their trials and tribulations at this school and things like that. So I quite enjoyed the last one, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with that series. The next card I chose was a red 8 with Simba. And for this one, I had picked bought in 2014. So I just had to go to my Goodreads shelf and choose something that was bought in 2014. And so this particular shelf was on the smaller side. I had actually read quite a few of the books that were already on that shelf. So that really kind of narrowed down the things that I could read off of that shelf. Plus, that shelf had a lot of like series books that were like way far back in the series, and I wasn't there. So my choices for this shelf was not very plentiful. But I did find one that I could read, and that was Through the Grinder, which is the second book in the Coffee House Mystery series by Cleo Coyle. I read the first one, which is, I believe it's called On What Grounds. I think we read that for Book One Cozies Club, and so I quite enjoyed it. This is a cozy mystery series about a coffee shop owner. And yeah, it was really interesting to hear about all the different coffees. Of course, reading it made me want to have coffee every single time. I'm looking forward to continuing with this series. I recently heard my friend Lee over at Dark Roots Creations talk about this one. I believe it was in her favorite series of 2022 list, I think. I will link it down in the description box below. But I've kind of also heard some not great things about this series as we get further along into it. So we'll see what I think. I'm looking forward to reading about all of the delicious coffee descriptions again. And yeah, so that is what I've chosen for that one. I also have access to the audiobook through my library, so that will be nice to have as well. So my last card was a red 7, and it's Rafiki. I told you that it is my friend Amy over at A-Star Reads' favorite Lion King character. So I was happy to see Rafiki show up. And for this one, the prompt was start a new series. I absolutely have no problem starting new series. I have problems continuing with series, but start a new series was great. And so for this one, I am going with one of the Monochrome Manga Club selections, and that is Mashal. I believe the subtitle for this is Muscles and Magic. This one is by Hajime Komoto. So I will put up a picture here for you. This will actually work really well with one of my Orilium Magical Readathon prompts because it was a recommendation from my friend Justin. His channel is Just Me Plus Manga. He has just recently made a return to YouTube, and I had put up a poll on my Instagram asking for recommendations, and he thought that I'd like this one. So this one is a story about a magical school, I believe. I don't know much else about it. Truthfully, this particular title had not been on my radar. The art style just wasn't like grabbing me, and I didn't really have any interest in reading it, but he knows my taste pretty well, and he thinks that I'll enjoy it, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a go. I do have access to this one through the Shonen Jump app, and so that's how I will be reading that one. And since I run the Monochrome Manga Club, just decided to choose it as the manga selection for the month, and so I'll also be able to discuss it with my Manga Club members. So 2-3 birds with one stone. So yes, I need to make these work for me. So that was really great. So that was our first in a series selection for the Monochrome Manga Club, and that also takes care of my last prompt for my game. And so the rest of the Monochrome Manga Club selections will be Malevolent Spirits Monogatari Volume 1, story and art by Oni Gunso. This one is published by 7 Seas, rated teen. This says, fate brought them together. Will malevolent spirits keep them apart? There are powerful beings whose spirits dwell within old objects, Tsukumogami. Hyoma is a young man who despises these evil spirits for robbing him of something precious. His mission? To use the supernatural powers granted to him to dispatch these Tsukumogami back to their own world, no matter what it takes. But when Hyoma's grandfather sends him to live with Botan, a kind-hearted girl who peacefully shares a house with an assortment of overprotective Tsukumogami, it's more than Hyoma can bear. Can Botan help Hyoma overcome his rage, or will his thirst for vengeance lead him down a dark and violent path? A supernatural battle action fantasy manga that is inspired by the anime. So I am super intrigued by this one. Supernatural mysteries are really my thing, and so I decided to choose that one for us to read and talk about for the Monochrome Manga Club as well. And then we are continuing our series read of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba with volumes 19 and 20. This is by Koyoharu Gotoge, published by Viz, rated teen. We are almost at the end. I am so looking forward to these 2 volumes. We left off on a cliffhanger. This follows our main character, Tanjiro, who is living with his family peacefully, and while he is away selling coal, his family gets murdered. And so when he comes back, he finds them, and all of them are dead except for his sister. And so he rushes to try to find help for his last remaining sibling and family member, only to find out that she has been turned into a demon. And so it has now become his life's mission to become a demon slayer, find the demon that turned his sister into a demon and killed the rest of his family, and hopefully try to turn his sister back into a human. And so we have really been enjoying this series. I am enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. I had avoided this series for the longest of time because the hype on this series is so much. And normally with hype things, if I get into it, I normally have an unpopular opinion. Thankfully, with this series, it's not the case. So I am really enjoying our journey reading this. We have watched up into what is available on the anime. Really looking forward to the next arc. And so, yes, we will be continuing with these 2 volumes for the manga club. And then we will also be continuing with Erased, which is by Kei Sanbei in the Omnibus 3rd volume. This is a mystery thriller series about a guy who has the ability to revive time, which basically means that if something is happening that can be avoided, he ends up time jumping back just a few minutes before it happens to be able to stop that thing from happening. He doesn't really have control of this ability, I would say. At this point, I have not yet read volume 2. I do plan on reading it the weekend after I am filming this. But as far as the first volume goes, it doesn't really seem like he has control of this ability. It's just that he kind of gets thrown back. And so when he knows that he's having a time revival, he knows to be aware and look around and see what needs to be avoided. And so he's kind of had this thing happen to him. And then something happens where he needs this time revival thing to work for him. And he ends up time traveling back to when he was 11. So he's 28 when the story starts. He ends up traveling back to a time when he's 11 to try to stop something from happening. So I really, really enjoyed the first omnibus of this series. Like I said, I have not yet read the 2nd volume, but I do plan on reading it the weekend that we are filming this video. And so we will be discussing it at March's Manga Club meeting. And if you're interested in reading any of these series with me, any of the Monochrome Manga Club selections, you can do so. I have a Discord, which is linked down in the description box below. We do not open up the meetings because we meet in person in the store, but there are threads there available. If you'd like to read the selections and discuss them with us, you can do so the day after our meeting. And so, yeah, really, really looking forward to this, or these volumes and continuing these series. So that's what we will be reading for the Monochrome Manga Club. And let's get to the Orilium Magical Readathon prompts. So for my occupation, which is Master of Elements, I have 6 prompts that I need to complete. So the first prompt is Elemental Studies, and that is flowers on the cover. So for that one, I'm actually going to go with Demon Slayer Volume 20. You can see that on the front cover here, it does not have flowers. However, on the back cover, it does. So that is what I'm choosing for that one. Then I have to take Shape-Shifting, which is to read a book with a wolf on the cover, in the title, or in the author's name. And so for this one, I'm going to continue the Crave series by Tracy Wolff with the 3rd book, which is Covet. Now, I was kind of participating in the Crave Along that's hosted by Reed's Readers, but because of March Mystery Madness, I skipped the third book, and so I need to get back on track, so I want to read the third one in April, and Covet is the third installment. Hopefully I'll be able to get the fourth installment in during April as well, but we will see. But this one is another like supernatural type school, and there's a little bit of romance in there as well. I've been quite enjoying this series so far. I've read the first two, both via audiobook, and I've really enjoyed that. And so I'm going to continue with the audiobooks now, probably try to combo read it. So I have the series available for me to borrow from Kindle Unlimited as well for the ebook copy. And so combo reading it will help me get through the books a lot faster. I know these books are like super thick and they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one though. The next class I need to take is Animal Studies. And for this one, we were supposed to flip a coin, and heads was nonfiction, tails was fiction. I had my daughter flip a coin for me, and thankfully it landed on tails. I did not film her doing that. I just had her flip it for me, and she has better luck than me. So yes, I cheated a little bit because I was hoping that her luck would give me tails, but it did. It worked out in my favor. And so for this one, I will be reading Dream Fever, which is the fourth book in the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. I am doing a read along with my friend Janaea over at Live a Thousand Lives for her Fever along. And so April being the fourth month means the fourth installment. I have been enjoying this series. The third book was not my favorite though. There were some things that happened that just could have been avoided, and it just caused a lot of drama. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all works out in the fourth installment. It's quite fitting that this one's called Dream Fever. I can see how that works with the events at the end of book 3. So yeah, really looking forward to continuing on with that series. The next class I need to take is Astronomy, and for this one I needed to read a book with 2 E's in the title. And so for this one I will be reading volume 19 of Demon Slayer by Koyoharu Gotoge. That worked out perfectly. And then for Conjuration, I needed to read a book recommended by a friend. And so like I told you, I put up a poll on my Instagram stories, and my friend Justin recommended Mashal, Muscles, and Magic. And then I also received 2 other recommendations. I received one from my friend Bizarre Individual, but I don't have access to that one yet. I have put it on my list to check out later. But I also received a recommendation from Becky over at A Bookish Discovery. I believe that's what her Instagram handle is. And she recommended 5 Survive by Holly Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. This has been one that's been on my radar for a little bit. I've heard a couple people talk about it, and it sounded really intriguing. I believe 6 friends go out on a trip, but only 5 survive. So obviously something happens to one of them. I do have access to this one from my library, so I am putting this on as a selection for that prompt. But I only need to read one of them to complete my class. But I'm definitely interested in 5 Survive, so if I can get it in during April, I want to, because it is something that, like I said, has been on my radar just recently, and it sounds intriguing, and so, yes. And then the last class that I need to take is Restoration, and so for that one, I'm supposed to close my eyes, shuffle some books, and point. And so instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I have my Grell jar here. Grell is a character from Black Butler, and this was a candle from Otaku Sense. Grell is my favorite fragrance from Otaku Sense, and so I had finished this candle and just cleaned it out, and I put in a whole bunch of pieces of paper in here, and these are all manga titles or manga series that I have in my library, my personal library. And so what I'm going to do is just pull out one of these strips of paper, and that is what I'm going to be reading for that class. So let's pull from like the bottom, towards the bottom middle and see what I have. So I have this one right here. And let's see what it says. It says Meison Ikoku. So I guess I am starting my read of Meison Ikoku by Rumiko Takahashi. This is a boarding house story. It has been one that I have been wanting to get into for several years. I've watched just a little bit of the anime, and I do actually have some of the discs. And I was really interested in what happened, but then my store closed and I couldn't find the discs anymore. Thankfully, they reprinted the manga volumes, so let me see if I can go get that, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have it here. Meison Ikoku Volume 1. This is an omnibus edition. I do have the entire series now, so it's a great time to go ahead and start this one. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So that is what I will be reading for restoration. And that is the last of the things that I have for my TBR. So let me stack this up and see. So this is what it looks like right now. Of course, we're missing Covet and Dream Fever and Mashal. And if I can get it in, 5 survive. So it's going to be a little bit taller than this. But this is what I've got to work with for the month of April. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping that I'll be successful. Because like I said, I am traveling towards the end of April. So we will see how this goes. I'm really looking forward to continuing with the Orilium Magical Readathon. It's always a blast when we're participating and seeing what everybody's reading and just the character development and seeing everybody's character creations and all of that is so much fun. And so yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you will be participating in the Orilium Magical Readathon, what profession you decided to choose for this semester, or if you're continuing with your previous profession, and what you'll be reading for your prompts. I'd really love to know that as well. If nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a flower emoji, any kind of flower, for the prompt where I have to read something with a flower on the cover, that would be greatly appreciated and will really help me out, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.